was so excited when I saw Cricut announce two brand new machines, the Maker 3 and the Explorer 3. The two things that got me most excited about the Maker 3 was that you could cut twice as fast as the original Maker, as well as using smart materials without a mat to cut up to 12 feet long. Today, I am so excited to be partnering with Cricut to unbox this Maker 3, put it through the paces, and let you know what I think and answer your burning question: should you upgrade? So stay tuned. This is Whiskey and Whit. I'm Whitney, and on this channel, I love to share a ton of tips and tricks when it comes to Cricut. I also love DIY and budget home decor, as well as wood builds for my home. So if you love all things DIY, be sure to hit subscribe down below so you don't miss a future Whiskey and Whit video. If you've been around a while, you know that I absolutely love crafting with my Cricut. I started with an original Explorer Air back in 2016 to DIY for my wedding, and I have not quit since. So I'm excited to put that lens onto this brand new Maker 3 and let you know what I think. So if you are brand new to Cricut, the Maker is the top of the line model that they sell. So they have a Cricut Joy, which is their smallest machine that also uses its own smart materials, the Explorer line, which has now come out with the Explorer 3, and the Maker line, which is now extended to the Maker 3. And if you're thinking, whoa, what happened to the Maker 2? You didn't miss it. The Maker jumped from Maker to Maker 3 to align with the launch of the Explorer 3, because there was an Explorer 2, so you did not miss anything in the middle. It was just to align with this launch so that moving forward, the numbers are the same. Any Cricut machine you get is a smart cutting machine. They are all compatible with Cricut's software called Design Space. You can use it to cut lighter things like paper and cardstock, all the way up to heavier things like wood and leather, using one of the 13 different tools it's compatible with.
When you get your Cricut Maker 3, the box will contain the machine, a USB cord, and a power cord, a fine point blade with the housing, which will be inside of your machine, and then a welcome book, and then also some practice materials. They give you each different kind of smart material, which we'll talk about in a minute, so you can test it out on your machine. Something to keep in mind is that if you have an original Cricut Maker, you'll remember that that also comes with a rotary blade and two mats on top of the items that come with the Maker 3. That's because this Maker is marketed with the smart materials that you can cut without a mat, so you'll just have to get those separately if you want them. However, you can use standard size Cricut mats you already have with this machine, so no need to go out and get any specific mats, and you can also use all of the vinyl and paper and everything else you already have in your stash.
So let's start with, what is the difference between a Cricut Maker 3 and an original Cricut Maker?
So here is the original Cricut Maker and the Cricut Maker 3 side by side. They are very similar in size and weight. They both can do USB and Bluetooth connectivity, and they both have 10 times the cutting force compared to a Cricut Explorer Air 2. Some of the little features that you will notice that are different are the Cricut Maker 3 just comes in one color. They've changed the Cricut C button to start your cut to a play button. You'll also notice that there's a little sensor here to help with reading the smart materials. There's also two distinct guidelines on the front tray, and that is for the roll holder, which we'll talk about in a minute. The biggest differences between the original Maker and the Maker 3 are not outside cosmetic updates, but inside with the features and the horsepower.
The two areas that caught my eye and that are the biggest areas to me of differentiation between the two machines is, one, the ability to cut 2 times faster, and 2, the ability to cut without a mat on smart materials.
So I decided to do a speed test for myself. The original Maker with a mat and Cricut vinyl is on the left, and on the right is the Maker 3 with the smart removable vinyl. I enlisted my assistant and we checked it out.
Okay, Finn, are you ready for a speed test? 1, 2, 3.
With the new smart materials, you can cut up to 8 inches per second. Something you want to keep in mind is that 2 times or double the speed is applicable when you're using smart materials. So if you choose to use a mat to cut on the Maker 3, you will see the same speeds as you would on a Cricut Maker. However, the Maker is still 2 times faster than the original Cricut Explorer, so it's still fast. So as you can see, that did cut much faster, and it's really nice when I'm cranking out a ton of projects in one day that I can cut down on my cutting time. The Smart Vinyl weeded just as easily as my regular vinyl, and I created a Mickey decal to put onto Finn's wall in his nursery. If you're worried about adding it to the wall with too sticky of transfer tape, just stick it to your table before you apply it to your decal, and then you can apply it directly to the wall. The ability to create wall decals with my Cricut is one of my favorite things. And Finn is loving his new friend on the wall in his room.
And don't worry if you already have a Maker and you're thinking about upgrading, your tools and your mats and all of that stuff can be used with the Maker 3. So you don't have to go out and buy specific Maker 3 items. Your things like your scoring wheel, your knife blade, even your scoring stylus, if you have an Explorer, will work with your Cricut Maker 3, making it super easy to transition to a new machine. And getting started with the Maker 3 is just as easy as any other Cricut machine. You plug in your power cord in the back of your machine, plug it into an outlet, and hit your power button to get it fired up. Then you follow the prompts within the Design Space software as well as the card that they provide so that you can get everything set up and be ready to rock and roll. Let's dive in now to the Smart Materials. These things are awesome and I'm super excited to share these with you. They've got 3 different variations that fit both the Maker 3 and the Explorer 3. First, they've got Smart Vinyl in both permanent and removable. They've got Smart Iron-On. They also have Smart Cardstock, which is like a sticker paper, and I am absolutely obsessed with it. I think that's my favorite.
So I wanted to share with you a couple projects that I am loving that I made with some of the new Smart Materials. The first one is the removable vinyl, and I created this decal for above my bed. If you follow me on Instagram, you saw the large decal. This is 6 feet long, and I'm going to show you how I created it. So first I want to add the roll holder onto my machine, and this is something you can buy in addition to your Maker to help keep your rolls of Smart Materials all in one spot. It goes on super easy. I just slid it right onto those little guard pieces on either side, made sure that it was in there and it was ready to go. Then I grabbed this long roll of removable black matte vinyl. This particular roll is 21 feet long, but you can also get some that are 3 feet long or 12 feet as well as the 21 feet. So there's different options with length. I got my vinyl out of the box and I put it into the roll holder, slid it through, and got it ready to load. This is similar to how you would load your mat on any other machine. You're just loading directly in with the material. When you go to cut with your new machine, your design space will be exactly the same. The only difference that you may notice is if you have a file that is the size that could potentially be cut on a mat, it will ask you if you want to cut with or without a mat, and then you just let it know. It will prompt you. If it is something like this one where it's 6 feet long and there's no way that you're going to be able to put it on a mat, it won't even ask you and it will just assume you're cutting with Smart Materials. But the whole process essentially is the same other than that little bit for when you're using design space and then sending it to your machine. Then once it gets started, it will cut. The only thing you want to make sure is that you've got ample space for that huge long train of vinyl, depending on how long you are cutting. And then when it's done, there's a really cool feature to the roll holder. It's a slide cut, so you can just slide it right across, remove your roll of vinyl, and then when you go to eject, it will just spit out your full piece of vinyl in your decal or whatever you decided to cut out. Another cool thing you could use this for is to cut out a ton of decals at once. So, if you are an Etsy shop owner or you are doing something for a large group party, you could cut multiple on a super long piece, saving you a ton of time. And then after that, the process is exactly the same as if you would add a decal with any other Cricut. I weeded it out and then I applied transfer tape. Cricut is now selling longer rolls of their transfer tape to be compatible with these longer rolls of Smart Materials. I usually get a lot of questions about how do I apply this straight, and so here's what I usually do. I use painter's tape with the backing still on the decal to get it where I want it. I move it around a few times, but the painter's tape is not going to harm the decal or the wall. Once I get it where I want it, I hop back up there and I peel off part of it, and then I go to the other side and I just kind of take it section by section, and that helps me get everything straight. and I was able to put it above our brand new farmhouse king bed. I love how it looks. It looks so custom, and it was so easy to make something this large with my new Cricut Maker. Now I love the Smart Material adhesive vinyl, so I definitely wanted to try out that iron-on to see if I could make a large project and have it be the same way. So I wanted to make a large lumbar pillow for our bedroom makeover, and so I started by cutting up a drop cloth that I just got from Walmart to the right size because I really liked the canvas material. And then I grabbed some black matte Smart iron-on. I cut it using the roll holder and just made sure that I put the shiny side down. And I was able to cut something that was 40 inches long in just about 8 minutes, which, looking at how much detail was on there, I thought was super, super fast. Then I went through and weeded the entire thing with this many letters and things. It weeded like a dream. I loved it. And then I went through at 320 for 30 seconds in each section with my heat press to set everything down. My last step was to glue around the outside, stuff it with some polyfill, and then seal the pillow. And then I just took off some of the edges so that it frayed so it looked a little rustic. We have this bench in our room that I just threw a blanket on with the pillow, and this is something that you would easily pay 50, 60 bucks in a boutique for because it's huge. It's a 41 inch by 12 inch pillow. I was able to cut that in one swoop, and it's awesome because I could make the fonts match. It looks like it matches. It makes my heart happy as a graphic designer. I absolutely love this, and how easy it was with the Maker is just mind-blowing to me. The Smart Paper sticky cardstock is exactly what it says. It is cardstock with a sticky backing that you can just peel off and go. As somebody who struggles on what type of adhesive to use for cards and signs and banners and things like that, this is huge. It's a game changer for me. 10 sheets come per pack, and you can select either a variety pack or they have single colors like this white one. The cardstock itself is 13 by 13, and the maximum cut area for the Smart Paper is 11.7 by about 11.2. So you just cut, peel, and stick. My first project was to cut out this really intricate W to put on to a card. This weeds so easily. The back is sticky enough that it will adhere and stay, but it's not too sticky that if you accidentally put it in the wrong spot, you can't reposition it. And I loved it so much on the card that I decided to create this adorable banner for my mom's kindergarten classroom. She decorates in the primary colors, and so this was easy. I cut out some pennant pieces on some craft paper. Then I did the primary colors on the Smart Paper cardstock, stuck those down, and then also did the letters on the Smart Paper, and this came together so quickly. This is awesome for teachers, but also if you do not have a classroom, I could also see this being awesome for home decor. Like with these different banners here, thankful for fall, merry for Christmas. The possibilities are endless. I love that I can create a project and just stick it and not have to worry about the glue being too runny or not sticky enough, fighting with a glue stick. This is totally speaking my language.
And what about those small pieces of Smart Material that aren't wide enough to be cut without a mat? Don't worry, they won't go to waste. You can put them on a mat and cut them in your machine just like you would any other vinyl, paper, etc. All right, so let's boil that all down, and what does that mean for you? So I like to look at Cricuts as you would your cell phone or upgrading another electronic. You kind of know when it's time to upgrade. So if you've been looking at potentially getting an Explore or a Maker, I would definitely go and get the 3. Then you have the newest version of either of those machines to use. These Smart Material features are awesome, and as you saw in the speed test, it does cut a lot faster than the original one without the Smart Materials. If you're happy with the machine you have right now, think about the Smart Materials and the matless cutting, and if that would make your life easier when you are crafting and creating, then these machines are definitely for you. Thanks so much for watching. A huge thank you to Cricut for sponsoring today's video, and if you love Cricut content as much as I do, be sure to hit subscribe down below so you don't miss a future Whiskey and Whit video. If you have any more questions about these new machines that I could answer for you, leave them down in the comments below. I would be happy to respond and make sure that you get all your questions answered before you purchase a new machine. Also, let me know if you are planning to get a new machine or check out some of these Smart Materials. Thanks again for watching, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Bye!